Morning, friends. Oh, purposeful wellness. Purposeful wellness. Say that 10 times really fast. What does that mean? What does it mean? Right? It means living our life on purpose. It means every breath, every thought, every moment of your day is living with intentional purpose. So it's not about what you do, although that factors in, of course. It's more about how you show up to do it. Okay. So today and every single day this month, bring in the intention to live on purpose. So no matter what this day brings you, no matter what state your mind, your body, or your life is in, decide right now to show up for yourself, okay? To show up for yourself so that you're living on purpose. So what this means is that to show up on purpose, you're willing to see things differently. You're willing to see people differently. You're willing to see situations differently. You're willing to see opportunities when the obstacles come up. Okay, instead of seeing it as an obstacle, go, take a breath, realign, live on purpose. This obstacle can be an opportunity if I'm willing to see it differently, right? Be willing to learn something about yourself. Again, this obstacle is a really good opportunity for me to learn something about myself, because something that I've learned is that I'm not willing to learn something about myself. Other things just keep showing up in different ways until I learn it. So living on purpose is like, all right, I'm going to learn it this time. I'm going to learn something about myself. Be willing to shine a light on your many gifts and talents, and be willing to share those with the world. Okay, so just notice what maybe you've got a great talent or a gift. Again, the gift to make someone's day by a smile or doing something good for them, right? Showing up in service of other people. And that's really key here, is because when we show up in purpose, we're not necessarily showing up so that we can do this for others, although that's a big part of it. We do this for ourselves. Okay, so showing up, solely just for others means we may be keeping the peace, which we talked about last week, right? Keeping the peace. But when we show up, when we do this for ourselves, when we are willing to do this for ourselves, we find peace within. And then everybody else in our life benefits from that. So of course we show up for them as well, but we got to show up for ourselves first, right? Find the peace in here, be willing to see things differently, be willing to see people differently, be willing to think differently, be willing to show up differently in every moment of your life. Okay. And oh yeah, our ego feels a little bit threatened by this and gets swept up in the dramas of life, and that we all have that. Nobody's immune to that. But when you decide to lean back and take a breath, okay, I'm going to show up on purpose in this situation or with this person or in my life. So that means we decide to show up in gratitude. Show up in your day with enthusiasm, no matter what it is. Whatever this day brings you, can you face it or show up in it with enthusiasm? Show up with a fire in your belly. Show up in alignment with your core values. Maybe today is about forgiving someone. Maybe living on purpose for yourself today is forgiving yourself. Maybe it's about letting go of a grudge or anger or any regrets that you've had in your life. Maybe today is about mending a broken relationship, calling that person or reaching out to someone. Maybe it's about finding some balance in your life. And that's when I know my life is out of balance, is when I can't when I'm not willing to see things differently, when I'm caught up in the story or the drama of life and I get swept away by it, then I know it's time for me to retreat, to come back to my own space. I need to find balance in my own life when I'm not willing to see things differently or live my life with intentional purpose. Really, when it comes down to it, life is just too short to take life too seriously. And believe you me, I have to remind myself of that on a regular basis. Okay, it is about showing up for our life, showing up for ourselves, showing up in purpose. And as a society, and this is great, when somebody is suffering, or when we show up for people when they're suffering, and that's really awesome. That's so awesome when we show up for people who are suffering, and there's a whole lot of support in when there's a society that is suffering, or when we see people who are suffering, and that's awesome. I want you to start to take that focus off more of the suffering and the places where we're wounded. Still have compassion, still show up for those ourselves and other people. Let's shift our focus more on the healing, right? Focus more on the loving, focus more on the appreciating, focus more on the forgiving, focus on the supporting and the mending. Share more joy instead of more suffering. Share, again, enthusiasm. Okay, this is purposeful wellness, but we got to decide ourselves that we're going to show up. If we just let life sweep us away into whatever is happening, around us, that affects what's happening within us. We have to choose this. We have to choose purposeful wellness. We have to choose to live with intentional purpose. Let's tap it in. Let's move. Okay, so again, just deciding to get up no matter what state your mind is in, your body is in, your life is in, just showing up for yourself in this movement, right? Bounce. Feel into your body. Breathe. This is a moment where you can come in and just say, I'm showing up. I'm showing up right now with purposeful intention. And then just shake it out. Maybe there's some thoughts, some negative thoughts, or maybe you've been feeling something. Show up for yourself. Let yourself sit with those feelings and feel them. Doesn't mean we deny anything that's going on, but we have to be willing to be with ourselves, and to be with our fears, and to be with those things that anger us, right? So show up in your body. Just march it out. Bring the knee up. Touch in. Being able to show up for yourself every single day with purpose. Tap in. We're working with our energy, and whether you understand what working with your energy is or not doesn't matter. How about just showing up and going, I don't know what I'm doing when I do this, but I feel better after I do. Okay, let's just tap into your body, your physical body. Tap in, right? Appreciate this life that you have. Let's go down on one leg and come up, no matter what state your life is in, no matter what you're facing at this time. How about the people in your life? Can we see things differently? If you're in the midst of an obstacle, okay, rub your hands together, tap in under the eyes. If you're in the midst of an obstacle, whether it's just coming up or it's been around for a while, you're in this loop of this obstacle. How about today showing up for yourself on purpose and saying, I'm going to see the opportunity. I'm going to find the opportunity in this obstacle. Big breath. Okay, let's tap in on the collarbone area. I like to cross my arms, and you just tap in underneath the collarbone. This gets all of our energy moving in the right direction. Again, whether or not you understand the energy system, meridians, chakras, this just gets them all moving in the right direction. So it helps you to ground, and it helps you to be able to see things differently, see people differently, see situations. You're able to see, okay, there's something that I can learn about myself in this situation. I'm willing to see it now. I'm willing to learn it, because I don't want this stuff happening to me over and over and over again until I'm finally able to see it, to feel it, to understand it, to get it. That's what living a purposeful life means. It doesn't matter what we do. Well, it does, but do it on purpose. Okay, let's tap in. Again, show up in gratitude. It's one of the best ways we can show up for ourselves. We can show up for other people. We can show up for our day. If you can tap into this area, the heart center, and draw into gratitude first thing in the morning, and also right before you go to bed at night, you're showing up for yourself. You're showing up. You can face the day, no matter what it brings you, with enthusiasm when you tap into gratitude first thing in the morning. And why we do it at night is because it's also easier to tap into it first thing in the morning if you fell asleep thinking about all the things you're grateful for. Yeah, that's how we show up for ourselves. That's how we show up for other people. That's how we show up with enthusiasm and for our day. And then we tap in spleen points. We metabolize it all in. Living with intentional purpose is how we find peace in everything, in anything, in ourselves, in this world. And we can't create peace for anybody else. We can't even show up as how we really want to show up for other people until we do this for ourselves. So take the time, my friends, to tap in, to move your body, to feel in, to decide that you are going to show up with intentional purpose in every day of your life. It just takes a few minutes, but you got to do it with intention. And the more often you show up, like you have to think about it. You have to do something about it. You have to be willing. And once you do it, it just becomes a part of who you are. Okay, I live my life this way, but I certainly didn't used to live my life. And I'm always learning. Like even last week, I had a big aha moment that has shifted my life in this week. And it's, I had to be willing to see things differently. I had to be willing to go, oh my goodness, I finally get this lesson, right? So just be open and be willing and live your life with purposeful intent. Okay, so you got the whole month to live this, because to bring this in as your intention, right? Because I am now away for a couple of weeks. Got the retreat in Tulum next week, and then I'm staying for an additional week of holidays. So I will be back in December with these tap-ins, and who knows, maybe I'll be able to tap in a bit, or log on at some point when I'm in Tulum. But anyway, have a absolutely fabulous day, fabulous week, fabulous month. Live each day on purpose. Okay, find balance in your life. Let go of the regrets, let go of grudges. Forgive. Thank you, my friends. Thank you. Live in purposeful wellness. Namaste.